What's going on? I'm Zero to Chaos,
And I am melting data.
and welcome back to Culture Clash. Hopefully, everybody is doing good out there, y'all. Oh man, you know what? We're gonna start off right. Data, how you been doing, bro?
Man, it's actually been a pretty good week. I've been getting some new projects that I started, worked on a good bit. It's been a pretty good week. Productive week.
See, that's the word right there. Productive week. On my end, I'm just staying alive, man. That's how I feel for real. Like it's been good,
That's
but ugh.
that's fair, honestly. That's how it is some weeks.
And for everybody out there, hopefully y'all are having a good week or a good day when y'all are listening to this. For all the new people that maybe have stumbled upon this on Spotify or YouTube or etc., welcome. You know, this podcast is for everyone, not just for one type of person. So please, please don't be afraid to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about us, tell an enemy about us. You know, we love it all here on this podcast. Another thing that happened this week, we launched our first subculture video, and I think
Yes, sir.
it hit the rounds. I think it's something that's going to be here to stay. I've heard some good things from people that watched it, but you know, like I said, you know, the podcast, we try to keep it at an hour max. Sometimes we go over, but you know, there's just so much stuff that we miss, or there's certain topics that maybe we don't want to talk about on the podcast. So I think us really honing down and bringing that into that smaller format would be huge in the future.
I agree. It gives us a lot more versatility on kind of what we can talk about, what we can address, topics that one of us may know a little bit more about that the other one's not as big into. It also gives us the versatility to kind of branch out and cover things that we're still interested in and that the Culture Clash audience is interested in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and like I said too, Data hit it right on the head. Like when I tell you some of the like we're finally getting comments on a lot of things now. And again, we love it because it shows that people are actually not only listening, but they're actually taking our words for value, and they're giving us their 2 cents. And never be afraid to express yourself. You know, good, bad, or ugly. You know, your opinion is your opinion, and we're gonna respect it to some form. See, Data knows because they didn't know where this is going. So
Oh, yeah.
he knows where this is going. We're not here to embarrass anybody. We're not here to call out anybody. So y'all will not know who did this unless you want to do the research and go look it up because we're not gonna let you know which video it's under either. But we had a comment come through, and I'm gonna read it, and we're gonna give our 2 cents on it, and we just want this is not to bash nobody. We're just gonna. I thought this was a very strong hot take.
Spicy take.
You know, really, yes, really spicy. So it states, and yet the games industry is crashing, especially on PC. Look at the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s before Steam took off. PC had exclusives. PCs had full studios making exclusives for it. Now all PC gets is console ports and early access scams. Steam killed the PC. Only people who weren't around and are new to the platform don't recognize how bad it has become. Period.
Like we said,
Woo.
super spicy take. And the thing that's wild to me is I don't know if he's giving us the biggest compliment in the world right now. Okay? It's a possibility because maybe I look like I'm young. Like I only been around for a little bit. But I've been gaming since the 90s on PC.
Facts.
I saw the 90s. I saw the early 2000s. I've been on PC for a long time. We still got exclusives.
Still got exclusives.
The very first Civilization game to ever, like, mainline game, not the like Civilization Revolution like offshoot. The first mainline Civilization game to ever come to console was Civ 6.
Yeah.
And it, like, Civ 7, I don't know if it has come to console. I don't know if that was a multi-platform launch.
Mm.
I don't have the money for Civ 7, so I ain't got it. But Civilization is a PC exclusive series. Uh, Oriental Empires, it's another 4X game, a lot like Civilization, but it's based around, like, China, Korea, Japan, that region. PC exclusive, to my knowledge. Humankind, another
Mm,
4X game, a lot like Civilization.
mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, PC exclusive. Like, we still have quite a few exclusives. It might not be the types of exclusives that we used to have, because Doom
Right.
for a long time, the older Dooms, Doom 1, Doom 2, for a long time, those were PC exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, anything 3D was PC exclusive. Um, like, early RPGs only existed on PC to get stuff, like the early Elder Scrolls games, and honestly, all the stuff that they were based off of. You had to be on PC to see that. So I understand that with a lot of those PC exclusives coming to consoles, what it looks like, but that's not the death of the PC. That's just accessibility.
Right. And again, Data, man. Round of applause for Data, bro. That was, he took all the words out of my mouth right there. That thank you. I'm just gonna move on to the next part of this comment that I wanted to bring up. The strong that Steam killed the PC. And I have to disagree. Valve did something very unheard of during that time. Valve with they were already in our hearts with Half-Life, Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2. There was they could have just stayed in that lane making games.
Mm-hmm.
And no one would have batted an eye. I'm pretty sure they may have. I'm not going to say they wouldn't be here today if they didn't pivot, but I do believe that that company understood that if we're going to succeed and if we want to see everyone, every level of developer have a chance. If Steam did not come out, in my opinion, when it did, we would have lost a lot of indie developers today. Because where were they going to put their games at? Where would they have had that platform to just even do it? And
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, early access games have become very risky. Too much of a good thing can be bad. And I think that is, as an older gamer, because again, I'm a 90s baby, so the 80s games is what I grew up with, and then I grew up with the 90s games, and of course 2000s. We've seen the evolution of gaming become what it is today. And with that, a lot of bad practices and very shady things, of course, come with it. And
Yes.
it's really hard sometimes to go, oh yeah, this is the problem. And it's like, they may have a part of the problem. But it's like, for me to say that Steam killed the PC, that's like saying Epic Games killed the PC. That's like saying Game Pass killed the PC. It's like, it's really tough because Steam is a platform, is a very strong platform. And we've seen what happened with like the Apple Play Store, if we remember that, and how they went to court for their practices and the money that they were taking from these people. Don't forget just a couple months ago, maybe like last year, I forgot which company it was, but they were trying to make it to where people would have to pay per download of a game.
That was Unity.
Unity, right? Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like these practices are coming because the game is different. The field is different. Growing up, I had my Super Nintendo, had my Sega Genesis. Um, I had to go to my friend's house to PC game. My family, we couldn't afford a PC yet alone a gaming PC. So our computer was very strict for work purposes. Look at games like Unreal Tournament before it got ported over to consoles. Uh, Quake, if I'm not mistaken, was a PC original.
Yep.
So it's like a lot of the things that we have today, if PCs didn't do it then, if these companies weren't focusing on it then, we wouldn't have it now. Now, I do agree. When they say all PCs get are these console ports, I do agree with that. But I will go one further. I challenge our companies to start making better PC ports. I've always been the one to say it. Hasn't there been a company that specializes in cleaning up PC ports? If the company itself doesn't want to make it
valuable.
Right, like you don't want to take the time to make a PC port for PC, which is crazy because the game is made on a PC. Outsource the game to us, and our sole job is to make sure that this game can work on PC day one. I don't see a problem with that.
I mean, honestly, the weird thing to me, the spiciest bit of the take to me is saying that Steam killed the PC. And to clarify, before we go too much further, no hate to this commenter, y'all.
Correct.
Don't go harass them. Don't do none of that.
Correct.
This is just, I don't agree with the take, and I think it's a spicy take. If this commenter watches a video in the future and sees these, comment again. I would like to hear your rebuttal to our points, honestly.
Yes.
The spiciest bit about the take, I personally think that Steam has been the best thing for the PC. It's provided developers who would not have, like Chaos was saying earlier, who would not have somewhere to release because they can't afford physical media. Mm-hmm. They don't have the capital to sink into physical media to print their games. So it cuts out an entire supply chain that they don't have to build anymore. And so the indie scene and small developers have exploded because of that. Mm-hmm. I also think Steam is the best for accessibility when it comes to being able to play PC games. Because in the past, again, I grew up as a PC gamer in the 90s, early 2000s. In the past, if the control scheme was bad and not accessible, it was just bad and not accessible. And you just weren't going to play that game. That's just how it was. Right. With Steam, through the Steam input that they've built, you can, if a game doesn't allow you to remap controls, you can go into the Steam input and remap what keys do. Not just on keyboard and mouse, but if you don't have enough dexterity in your hands to use keyboard and mouse and you need, a controller or you need some other form of accessibility input, Steam input allows you to remap to those devices as well. So, I mean, accessibility-wise, Steam has made it so that more people can play more games, and widening the base that you can market to is always good for an industry, in my opinion.
Right.
Accessibility in gaming is something that I personally think needs to be done a lot more. Because there are some people, and I understand it's not necessarily the majority of people, but there are some people that their physical disabilities make it so that they can't go out and explore and, do all these things in the real world. And their only way to experience some of this is through things like, reading novels or video games or TV shows. And so being able to open as much of that to them as we can, I personally think is hugely important, which is why I think Steam largely saved the PC, made it more accessible, made it usable to more people and to more developers.
Right. Yeah. And kind of piggybacking off of that, um, if Steam wasn't created, because even back in the 90s and the early 2000s, we've seen how like the console push was so heavy. I think because we were younger, we were entertained by it. The older we get, you start to realize like, okay, yeah, this is how this was established. Um, you know, remember PS1, PS2, PS3s, Xbox, OG, Xbox 360s, these companies were not pushing PCs. That's where the whole console war came from. And, oh, you're a PC elitist. You're this because, there was no real support for PC. You may, like I said, growing up in the 90s, in the area that I lived in, there was only one family on the block that had multiple PCs for us to play. And if I never had that experience, that means I would have missed Diablo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have missed these pinnacle, like these crucial games, I feel, in early gamer's life back then. And, don't get me wrong. As much love as I have for Steam, PC, things like that, of course I can tell you the things that I don't like that this generation of gaming has done to PCs and gaming in general. It's really tough when a lot of your made for PC games are just flooded with microtransactions, flooded with season passes, flooded with loot boxes. So instead of us attacking the selling place, we need to attack the company that keeps doing this. And we need to, and again, if I'm pointing the finger at them, there's fingers pointing back at me. So as a consumer, I need to also, we all need to be honest with ourselves. I'm gonna call it out. Let's make it. Let's be real. Just recently, Overwatch. They're getting hurt pretty bad with Marvel Rivals right now. Marvel Rivals is taking a lot of their casual players away. So in response, they go, well, we're going to bring back loot boxes. We're going to bring back all this stuff. And I'm like, no one wanted loot boxes back. It's like, don't get me wrong. Me as an adult, I know there's a problem with loot boxes, but I have self-control. So I never really cared about it. I do my dailies, give me a prize, I'm on my way. But as an adult, I did see family members, I did see friends who literally dropped paychecks to just gamble. Yep. And that hurts because it's like, hey man, like, what are you doing? And let's be real. I can go farther back. World of Warcraft. I knew this problem was coming when World of Warcraft said you can pay for levels. Their excuse was, well, if your friend starts or if you start new, there's so much game. You won't be able to catch up in time. It's like, yes, but at the same time, that's an experience that you as a player has to understand is in this game.
And so many companies have fixed that in different ways. Because like Fallout 76 fixed that with, forget which year it was, but they made it so that they're like, okay, we get it. There's a lot of people that have been playing for a long time. you've missed quite a few expansions.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a new character now, it automatically starts at X level. I think currently it's like 20 or 30 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there are companies that already addressed that and fixed that problem a different way that doesn't require a microtransaction.
Right. And again, their take is fine. Because if I had to be again, if we said like Steam killed the PC, I'm like I said, BattleNet. Me and Data were just talking about this. How BattleNet with their practices of hey, we have a remastered coming out, the original game, we're going to pull it from the Play Store, and if you paid for it, too bad. You know, those things. If anything, if I had to be crucial about this topic, I would say that this topic is true when it comes to game preservation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And that is a huge criticism that, in my opinion, the biggest shortfalls that PC gaming has are not unique to PC gaming.
Yeah.
And they're not unique to gaming in general. The biggest issues befalling media in general right now is lack of ownership. Because when we had physical releases, they didn't have a whole lot of control over what we did once we had the physical media in our hands. They couldn't stop us from, taking the ROM from our Nintendo 64 cartridge, copying it to a PC, running it through an emulator. There was nothing they could do to stop that. Mm-hmm. There was nothing they could do to stop us from ripping a copy of a DVD, and that way we have 2 discs now in case one gets scratched or whatever. Like, they couldn't stop that. Now that everything's digital, they have total control over it. They can do whatever they want with it. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem because if the rights get messed up one day, or if they just decide, you know what, we're going to free up server space and this just doesn't seem important to us, mm-hmm. they can just remove stuff. Like Chaos was saying, and we did have a conversation about it with the old Diablos. Now that Diablo 2 Remastered is out and they're coming out with a remaster for the first one, they're just taking the old games off of the Battle.net launcher. They're just gone. I bought those years ago, and they're just gone. I can't play the originals anymore. If I want to play those again, I have to buy the remaster. That is just objectively not good. Like, that is a bad way to do it. Yes. I don't know how many readers there are out there, but my preferred ebook platform has been Kindle for a long time. And with Kindle, you used to be able to download a copy of your ebook straight through the Kindle website. They took that away. You can't download them anymore. You can only read them through the Kindle apps and through the Kindle website, but you cannot download it to device. Or at least not to a non-Kindle device. Because it used to be that you could download it and open it up in third-party applications, mm-hmm. where you could strip the DRM from it. Now you had a copy of an ebook that was outside of Amazon's ecosystem. You can't do that anymore. They removed the download function. There's a lot of stuff that is objectively bad that's happening in PC gaming, but it's not unique to PC gaming.
Yeah.
Ownership needs to be drastically addressed.
Yes.
Because if we're paying money for movies and video games and books and TV shows, etc., so that we can own this digital media, and then a company can just say, I know that you've bought every season of this show, but it's just not on our servers anymore.
Right.
And all of a sudden you just can't use it. Like, that is just objectively a bad thing. And that needs to be addressed. But I don't see that being a gaming issue so much as it is just a media issue in general.
Yeah. And, to say that a lot of us, of course, we did not see this coming. There was tendencies that maybe raised our eyebrows back in the day. You know, because again, we are a product of the '90s, so a lot of things in gaming we were introduced to, they just figured it out themselves. You know, it's like so yeah, like
Yeah.
I totally I can half and half agree like with the comment saying that only people who weren't around and are new to the platform don't recognize how bad it has become. And that's not 100% incorrect. And it's not 100% right. One
Yep.
thing that I personally have seen when it comes to the culture of gaming, we have gotten a lot more gatekeepers who are not gamers.
Yes.
And the elder statesmen, as I would say, people like me, Data, uh, we we get shunned away as haters or we don't understand. And there were times, you know, like Fortnite. You know, we always go back to Fortnite because that's one of the big, to me, that's one of the big issues that this culture has is that we need to understand that Fortnite was a huge rarity of a situation. And this is why it's hard for other companies to duplicate this. You know, because let's be real, this game, what Fortnite is today, is not what Fortnite was meant to be. And
Yes.
they pivoted at the right time, and they they betted the farm on Battle Royale. But people don't realize that the sacrifice that they made making this thing a battle royale, they also studied tendencies and trends. That's the problem. Is that you have other companies now that go, well, just copy and paste what they did, put microtransactions in the game, put season passes in the games. Like, no, you're not studying trends. You're not seeing what the children who are now young adults. There's a reason why these children who are now young adults are now still playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
They kept up with the trends. They kept things current for them. I'm trying to think of a game for our generation. Oh yeah, it's called Call of Duty. People forget Call of Duty been out for a minute. And look what
And
happened.
it doesn't really ever get better either.
It
They just
doesn't.
keep up with enough trends.
It gets a little better polish on it. You know what I'm saying? They add a little. They may add a new perk. They may add this. They may add a little skin here and there. But it's still Call of Duty. And it got so bad that even the campaign became a little watery. And so what they do? They made Black Ops. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then when the Battle Royale thing came out, they saw the trends. They said, oh, we'll make Warzone. That is our response to Fortnite. We're not trying to be Fortnite, but that's our response. Look what happened to PUBG. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Call of Duty has followed every like shooter trend that there was. Because movement shooters are popular. Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, like all that stuff. Oh, battle royales are big. Warzone 2, like every trend that there has been, Call of Duty has followed it.
yes. And again, for all of our listeners, all of our viewers, this is us saying when we have these discussions, these open talks, I would like to say, because I would love to see something like this where we can actually just have respectable open talks with the community. Because I read
That would
your comments.
honestly be fun.
Right, like I read the comments, and this is why like I wanted to do this. We talked about this. We're like, you know, hey, that's why we're not showing the person. We're not, because I do feel too, especially in this current culture and age, a lot of people take things very offensively, and
Yeah.
it sucks because it's like, you know, we could clearly sit here and say like this person gave a very spicy take, but this take was so interesting that we literally decided to use this for our episode. So
We had like a week ago, we had a whole conversation about this, and we were like, man, like we've got to talk about this on the podcast because like it's a spicy take, but it's not 100% wrong.
No.
There are things that are just objectively worse now that used to be better, but there are also things that are just objectively better now that used to be worse. So it's not 100% wrong.
Oh.
But like it was interesting enough that it got us talking about it. And we were like, "Yo, that like we got to talk about this."
Facts, because you know, not to go too far off the topic, but Game Pass. I have been very supportive of it on this podcast, but
yes,
I'll keep it 100. Don't be raising these prices of Game Pass, and we're not seeing positive change. That was my problem with PlayStation for a while. You know, if you're charging your consumers to pay online when our Wi-Fi is already being paid, I have to pay another servicer to even access internet.
Yep.
So now you're putting another paywall in front of it. That's a problem. That's why I even went to PC. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not about to sit here and pay them and pay you just to play with my friends. So
yep.
what did they do? Oh, there is no I almost said multi-connection. My bad, y'all. There is no cross-platforming. That was their response. Gaming, I think people seem to forget, and especially the elder statements. They seem to forget that we come from an era where things were simple, but we were the outcasts.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We don't even have real like couch multiplayer games anymore. I would love once I have a family, once this community grows, to be able to sit down with people and go like, man, do you remember the days when you can go over to your homie's house and y'all play Mario Party for hours? Man, do you remember like when you didn't have a memory card for your PlayStation, but you playing that Final Fantasy and you can't save, so you gotta keep it on and hope nothing happened. I gotta go to the store.
Praying the power don't go out.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like those issues was problems. But you know, we made the best of it and we grew. I mean, you know, look at what just random, but look at what happened to G4. And I think everyone who listens to this would know what G4 is, but that was if you don't, G4 was a gaming network that came out, I want to say maybe in the mid 90s, early 2000s. They lost funding. It closed. Fast forward to, I would say, 2022, 21, 22, it came back. Problem is, the culture of gaming was as big as it ever has been. They did not manage it correctly. Awesome idea, poor execution, and it's gone again. That was it. You know, we mentioned all the time, look at Game Informer. Oh, you know what? Even better, look at what GameStop has done to gaming. Let's bring that up. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring up the fact that the company that owns GameStop bought what was it? ThinkGeek. And instead of them being intelligent and going, well, we bought these two forms of, you know, entertainment, the culture, we're just gonna smush them together like a sandwich and sell everything in the stores, make them cluttered, make them uncomfortable to be in. It's like, yes, when movies and books were the biggest things in entertainment, I guarantee you people who love those could tell you the issues. And I could, because I love movies. And you know what happened when movies became like the big culture phenomenon? We started getting very poor quality movies. And then they started investing a lot of money into trash stories. That's what's happening right now in gaming. Not every game needs to be a AAA multi-million-dollar game. This is why people are getting laid off. This is why companies are being closed when they do perfectly fine.
Yeah,
you know,
we need a foundation of games like Heartbound and Stardew Valley and stuff like that. We need that indie game base of simpler, less elaborate games
Mm-hmm.
so that we have room in the industry for those AAA titles.
Yes,
Because, quite frankly, I'm AAA'd out.
bro.
There's a couple that I care about, like company wise, because I've always enjoyed Bethesda's games
Mm-hmm.
when they come out with new stuff. Like I've always enjoyed how their games are, buggy as they may be. Uh, I've always enjoyed Obsidian's games. So
Mm-hmm.
there are a few companies that it's like I'll look for their new stuff when it comes, but for a lot of it, like Diablo 4, I didn't care about it.
Oh,
I
100%.
didn't get it. Diablo 3 is the most recent one that I've played.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't care for it. Um, I don't care for the new Assassin's Creeds. I haven't
Yeah,
played that for a hot minute. You
same.
know, I'm not excited for GTA 6. Like there's a lot of AAA games that it's just like I don't
And-
really care for them all that much. Like I'm AAA'd out. I'm tired of the same thing repeatedly.
right.
I
And
want something new.
and I like how you said you're tired of the same thing repeatedly. Because I was gonna say too, for every GTA there was like a bully.
Yeah,
If you get what I'm saying. So like yes, maybe Saints Row wasn't the best thing. Maybe Dogs wasn't the best thing. But we knew that that was their take on a GTA clone. Look
yeah.
at the Souls genre. There's a reason
It's
why they're
exploded.
yeah, there's a reason why they're called Souls likes. And excuse me, and personally, I feel like Elden Ring did the way it did so well because yes, it's a Souls like game, but it understood that we need to tone down that ball breaking experience.
There's a
And
lot of Souls likes that have done that recently. The
mm-hmm, a lot.
can't remember the name of it, but it's like a crab's adventure, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where they put in the accessibility mode that like if you wanted to still experience the world and the story, but you just can't do Souls likes, they just gave you a gun.
Go.
Like,
Go. Look at Liza P.
yeah,
And I will arguably say, 'cause I'm waiting for that DLC for Liza P. Liza P, in my opinion, is the best story that I've experienced in a Souls-like game. It flowed well, it did what it had to do very well, and the game was still challenging enough. Um, my other opinion with this stuff, I want to see more Devil May Cries. I want to see more Metroidvanias.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we don't get me wrong, we're getting them here and there, but it's like we need to realize, in my opinion, once we started treating video games like we treated movies, is where that disconnect happened. Because people forget, yes, a Marvel movie, the amount of money that they use to make a Marvel movie, what they get back in the box office, and again, that's a worldwide event. That's it. Outside of DVD sales and things like that. For games, you can't sit here and tell me that it's totally fine for one company to release 3 games that are like $50 million plus dollars to make. And you
yeah.
think
The cost of games has to come down.
it has to, man.
The one that blew my mind was when there was a developer from 343 Industries that had talked about it years ago at this point. But when they were like, yeah, we probably spent like $600 billion on developing Halo Infinite through like the support over the years. And I was like, that is insane. Like no game should have that high of a development cost. Like cut something. Like that's why y'all are trying to charge $70 for new games now, is because you don't understand how to not overdevelop a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, games didn't have these wild development costs in the past, but they still came out and they were still good.
And the thing is, too, it's like, this is where we lose the risk. And don't get me wrong, I get it. You know, you want to make money. That's the whole purpose. But creativity, you lose creativity, you lose these things when people can't create. You know, it's like, okay, every year I gotta make Call of Duty. Every year I gotta make an Assassin's Creed. This is why, like, GTA 6, I'm totally fine. I am totally fine with Grand Theft Auto being where it is now, because look what we had and where it came from. Its growth to this point is fine. It went through its lower points to get to this epic, like, AAA event. But then you have games like, it was on the tip of my tongue, we'll say Assassin's Creed. Oh no, Skull and Bones. Games like that, where the developer and the publishers go like, this is a quadruple A game. This game is gonna change the market. We may have to charge $100 for this game. It's like, bruh, this game is trash. And you knew it was trash. You know, and what kills me is that the community, and this is why I know we keep ragging on the company, but I'm going to flip it again and rag on us. This is the problem that we're having right now. And we as consumers need to stop buying this stuff. I know this podcast is not that big. I know we don't get that many listeners right now, but I'm telling you, stop supporting bad business. And it sucks, because it seems like for every hot take that we have, I get it. And I'm not saying that all of you are the problem. So again, like they say, if this ain't you, let it fly over your head right now. People that play 2K every year. I am a huge sports gamer. I played my Maddens. I played my NBA Lives. I played my NBA Street Volume 2. Come on. Y'all literally got this franchise to a level where it is gone. The game itself is poorly made, but it makes billions of dollars off of microtransactions and virtual currency. To the point where they don't even let your virtual currency transfer over to the next game. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Such a problem. And the new WWE 2K game came out. And they added the island, which is no joke, bro. The island is literally just 2K assets, copy and pasted, put palm trees in the dang thing. They gave no care to this program, because they know, they look at us and they go like, oh, you're gonna buy it anyway. Who cares if I take the time to make sure the servers work? Huh, you're gonna buy it anyway. That's why I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm just
I
saying.
was just gonna say, to be fair, like, reusing assets, I'm not against it if you do it in a smart way.
Yes.
Because Nintendo has been king of reusing assets before, for a long time. Because when they made Majora's Mask, they reused a lot of assets from Ocarina of Time. When they made the Oracle games, they reused assets from A Link's Awakening. When they made, more recently, when they made Tears of the Kingdom, they reused assets from Breath of the Wild. When they made Echoes of Wisdom, they used assets from the Link's Awakening remake. So, like, reusing assets isn't the issue if you reuse it in a way that isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just lazily copying and pasting because, quite frankly, you just can't be bothered to do anything better, that's not a good use of assets.
It's totally unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And again, like you said, like, using your assets the right way, and we see the progression, the positive progression. You know, because I mean, I'll keep it 100 with y'all. Like, I'm just tired of seeing people losing their job. You know,
Yeah.
and let's keep it a buck. Like, Marvel Rivals, I love that game. I love it. I love Overwatch, and it hurt my heart when I had to leave because Overwatch was doing practices that I couldn't agree with anymore, and the game became a problem because I get it. You want to be the best that no one ever was. You want to be a tryhard. You want to go rank and you want to go to the league and all this stuff, and we forgot to have fun. So they just flooded the game with just poor practices. And now look at Marvel Rivals. Like, the game is doing fine. I heard that it made like millions, like multiple millions of dollars since release, and they fired like 300 people.
Yeah.
For what? For what? Look at another company I love. Look at Insomniac Games. I love me some Insomniac. Insomniac is one of my favorite companies by far. And they canceled their Spider-Man 2 DLC for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people were like, "That's weird." So, what happens when I paid for the Game of the Year version that promised me 2 or 3 DLCs? What now?
Yeah.
I just dropped $150. Didn't even get like at least when we dropped $100 something plus dollars back in the day, we got a photo album, a soundtrack, a figure. Yep. I bought.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, there was problems with that too. Because remember Fallout 4, I think it was? No, Fallout 76 when that came out, and they gave us that janky bag. Yeah. So there's problems with that too. But at least we were getting physical items that we can put up. You know,
because back in the day, they used to have those physical things that came with your pre-orders. Because like New Vegas came with a poker set. Yeah. Oblivion came with like a real metal coin and forget what else. Skyrim had like the paper map and a couple other things. Mm-hmm. Like you used to have like genuine good reasons to pre-order. Now, and this practice needs to stop. Every game, it seems like, is coming out with these pre-orders where it's like, oh, if you pre-order this version, then our 2 upcoming DLCs, you'll get them for free when they come out. And I have to remind everyone, okay? And this is not just a gaming thing. Anything, anywhere, never buy a promise.
Period.
Only buy what you can get right now. Period. What is actually obtainable. Never buy a promise of something to come in the future. If you buy a promise of something to come, if you buy, as someone who has broken my rule a few times, I bought Google Stadia.
Ooh.
Where's Google Stadia now?
Facts. Facts.
I had 2 Chromecasts and 3 controllers.
Ready to go.
It's gone. Now, thankfully, Google did refund all the game purchases and all the hardware purchases. I got a full refund for everything I ever spent on it. But that's not a normal way that stuff dies.
At all.
That is not how stuff usually goes out. Only buy what you can actually use now. Not promises to come.
Right.
Because when it comes to things that have been promised that haven't come out, cell phones have been sold on the promise of like, oh, we're going to add this feature in software later. And then they just don't.
They don't do it.
We're going to have this DLC later. And they just don't.
Cancel it. Just cancel it. I mean, look at fighting games. We came from an era where we unlocked fighters. Okay, it sucked. It may have sucked that you couldn't have the character right then and there, but at least you knew, like, with the progression.
To play the game, though.
Right. Replayability, man. Now, we're gonna character lock people. We're gonna bring out characters in DLCs. You can pay. Or my favorite one, you can pay early and get this fighter. Or, like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, these practices have been around for a long time. Look at Soul Calibur. where they literally made you buy all of the customization stuff for your characters instead of just giving it to us or making it like an event or something.
Yeah.
These are the things that literally grind my gears, man. Another thing that really pisses me off. Oh, pay over $100, you get the game 3 days early, and that irritates me because they know the culture, they know what happened. Streaming culture and gaming culture has changed the game literally. So now you have people who are like, well, man, I have to pay the extra $150 for this because I have to be able to stream this first before anybody else. And speaking of streamers, because I'm a small streamer, but for you other streamers out there, and I get it, y'all put in the time, y'all put in the grind, y'all got a community, you grew this community, and you're making good money off of streaming. But for all of you out there that know that you get write-offs for these games, that you get free codes for these games, and you flaunt your money, and those are the people, to me, those are the people that have ruined gaming. They throw thousands of dollars at these games and they make their audience seem weak or not worth it because they can't afford it. And then they get this brainwash mentality of, well, I have to have it because they have it. And the company, and now look at the gaming company now. It was a downward spiral going, and they cracked that thing open. It's just negativity. I hate that, man. I mean, look at us back in the day. When we were streaming heavy, we were giving away free games the best way we could. That's how it. And again, like, I grew up with gaming. Since I'm a '90s baby, they handed me a Super Nintendo, and it's been ever since. I'm now in my 30s. I have way more responsibilities in my life. That's how life is. But I find time to game. And if I had to be honest, it's getting harder and harder to justify purchases in something that I love to do. Either it be games, either it be movies, either it be TV shows, books. Like, again, this is culture clash, bro. We of course we talk a lot about video games. That's just one of, again, it's the biggest form of entertainment right now. But our talks, it exceeds a whole bunch of other cultures. They're all going through it. Did not think this was going to take up the whole episode, but man, I had to get this off our chest, man. We had to get it off our chest.
Because there's a lot of things, and to that commenter, again, if you're watching this and you wanna leave some more stuff, like, feel free. I've enjoyed the conversations we've had, just kind of talking about the take. You're not 100% wrong.
You're not.
Like, there is a lot of stuff that you're right, but where I disagree the most on the take is, I don't think it's the PC's fault that the PC is suffering because of gaming. I think it is the gaming industry and media industries in general that have been falling.
Yes.
And the PC is just seeing it the hardest because of, like, how good it has always been.
Yes.
But man, like, there's so much that needs to be addressed, and so much that I just don't think will be addressed, unfortunately. Because as someone who's played Civilization from the very first title, like, I can't play Civilization 7. I can't justify $70 for the base game. They're charging, I think it's like $100 so that you can get another 2 civilizations,
which is wild,
unlocked. Which is, like, I can't justify those prices. It's not that I couldn't go buy it.
Right. But why?
I probably could squeeze out the money to go buy that. But how can I justify like that level of money for something that back in the day just it wasn't that expensive
at all. Now, of course, people go inflation. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. But it's like we can clearly see where the pendulum has dipped heavy. And I've met people. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have too, Data. You've met people that have tried to prove that $100 games is okay. And
I have, and I will disagree with that
like, bruh,
till the day I die, because back in the day, okay, we had expensive games back in the day, but they had to print physical media to get these to us. They had to produce cartridges, they had to produce CDs, they had to produce DVDs, they had to build the cases and the books and everything. They had to ship it on trucks. It cost a lot of money to get those games in our hands because we had to physically have the media to be able to use it. These companies have no excuse. It is a digital download.
correct.
Your entire distribution network for the vast majority of companies has completely disappeared.
Gone.
There are certain companies that are not making physical releases at all and are still expecting people to pay increased prices for their games. Activision Blizzard. Like, that is not acceptable to have absolutely no physical distribution of your media and expect top tier prices for your games.
Right.
I can at least somewhat understand a company like Nintendo. I don't agree with it all the way, but I can understand them a little bit because they still produce physical media. It is available digitally, but they still produce every game they release as a physical copy, at least for first party titles.
Right.
Not everybody third party does it, but for first party titles, they
Right.
produce every single one of them as a physical copy still. They still have to eat that cost.
And the thing is too, like, and I'm again, I 100% agree with Data. Like, it's so tough to be like, you know, when people tell me like, yeah, man, I may have to pay that $100 for this, and I'm like, why, bro? Like, just, well, you're paying $16.99 a month for Game Pass. I'm like, yeah, but I'm also able to play these new games and not have to pay an extra $150 for 3-day access for 3 new days and all this stuff. Like, no, like, you know, of course, because, you know, we've been content creators for a long time, and don't get me wrong, like, I would love to be in that level of content creators who are getting free codes and getting access to things early and things like that. That'd be dope. And don't get me wrong, like, I've had my fair share. I have had betas, which are glorified demos. Let's keep that real. I've had early access to betas. I've played certain games that have and tested games through my life, and I cherish those moments. And I guess I'm saying this because for the younger generation, if we have anyone younger who listens to this, you have been robbed of that experience. And you don't have a community that is willing to let you know the truth because they're all trying to be tryhards now. So they dismiss you. It sucks that I can't go on a multiplayer game online and go, hey, what's up, y'all? And the chat, somebody at least in the chat has a microphone so we can talk and have conversation. It's gone. The only time they talk to you is to complain.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Yes, when I was a kid, I was part of the problem. I was talking trash. I was being a little butthead. I was. But I always thought that was the progression. You're the young kid trolling everybody. Then you become that elder statesman. You become that unk level, and you're supposed to be like, yeah, man, I have my 9 to 5. I'm coming off of work. I just want to play a couple of hands, have conversation with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have friends till this day that I've met online. Have never seen them. Have never been able to go see them. but I talk to them till this day and I've met them through gaming. I don't think a lot of kids have that same experience today. And I could be wrong, but personally, I don't think they have that experience today. Yeah, we had other topics. I think we're gonna either make that a subculture video, or we'll just wait till the next episode to talk about it. We
kind of laid into the industry as a whole on this, because I mean,
oh yes,
it started out kind of talking about the hot take, and then we gave our own criticisms.
Just going.
We just kind of went for it.
And that's the thing, man. Like I said, it's like, and I will say this: we've had people disrespect us, like blatantly disrespect us in comments. And
This is true.
I always put a smile on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to come attack you back. It's your opinion if you choose that. Yes, anyone can have a podcast. That is true. 100% believe it. Anyone can make a podcast if you have a microphone, camera, whatever. True. For people who say that and you're doing nothing, it literally answers the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least we're able to make a platform. We're able to use what we have to maybe try to build a platform to make things better. And I do believe that we're going to reach some form where we can make things a little better for people. And I thank you, Data, because this idea that you had is fire. And I do believe that this idea that you've created is going to make a safe space for open communication for people to talk about things they love without feeling like they're being attacked. It's going to take some time, but I see it. Ooh, my bad. I had to stretch it out there for a minute.
That's all good.
Closing statements. Any last words before we close this one?
I mean, we definitely want to hear all the comments, any other spicy hot takes that may be out there.
Yes.
Love to hear it. It may be a topic later on if we find it interesting. Like, I would love to hear the comment. We do read them all.
Yep.
And we comment back and forth through, Discord and text and all sorts of other stuff on the comments that we've seen. That being said, be polite in the comments. And not to me. I mean, I don't care. I'm grown. I'm tough. I can take it. Whatever. Someone called me a neckbeard in one of the videos a while back. Whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. I don't care.
It's like, bruh.
But be polite to the commenters. At least
Yes.
be nice to them. Be mean to me. That's fine. Be nice to the other commenters.
And I'll keep it a buck. Things have changed. So a lot of these social media sites, they flag you before we even have a chance. Just let you know that. There's a lot of y'all that just got, like, flagged. And they'll tell me. They'll be like, hey, we flagged this. Some of them I override. Because I feel no hurt, no shame with it. But a lot of y'all got some evil spirits, man. Y'all need to calm down. It's okay. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? But keep a lookout, guys. So, this is the podcast, but please, please, please go check out Final Stage Promotions on YouTube. Check me out, Zero to Chaos, on TikTok. That's where a lot of our extra content is at. So if you don't have time to listen to the whole podcast, we cut it up into shorts that you can just catch some of the moments and then later on go and check them. If you want to just get, like I said, if you want to get a different perspective on another topic, we have the subculture, and you're going to be seeing a lot more stuff come out with that. That is something that I think is going to be very effective when it comes to our content. Like I said, this is a show that has been created with the love of many loves, and we want y'all to be able to share what y'all love as well with us, because you never know. You may find a like-minded individual in the comments and be like, yo, that's crazy, man. They brought up this. do you remember this? And, oh yeah, I remember that too. Boom, 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 like that. It's so easy. The energy that you put into being negative, if you put that same energy into being positive, you will move so much more. You'll get so much more done and feel so much better.
Honestly, yeah. And being positive doesn't mean that you can't criticize where good criticism is due.
Yes.
Criticism is something that is necessary if we're going to improve.
Correct.
So good criticism is not a bad thing. You can be positive through criticism.
Yes. But yes, guys. I would say just again, please like, share, subscribe. Leave comments. I challenge everyone that has made it this far. If you've made it this far into the podcast, first off, thank you. Number 2, share the link to someone. That's all I ask. Just share the link to someone. And I guarantee you that will help not only us, but I feel like that will also help y'all grow this community that y'all love. I have nothing else to say. Anything else, Data?
I mean, just make sure you check us out anywhere that you feel comfortable. The audio version is on Amazon Music or Amazon Podcast, whichever one it's called. It's on Spotify. Like Chaos already said, it's on the video version. Is the big chunks is on YouTube. The smaller clips is going to be on TikTok. So check us out anywhere you kind of feel comfortable, and
that's right.
That's it.
And also drop us some new social medias that we should put it on. I am trying Blue Sky, but they're really weird when it comes to like videos. I haven't figured out why my videos don't get uploaded. But I normally just drop like a link to the YouTube shorts on there, but I'll figure it out. Just takes a little homework. Until next time, I'm Zero to Chaos.
And I'm Melting Data.
And this has been Culture Clash. Everybody, please have a good day, a good week, and we will catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.